In this video, we will talk about how to find the sum of an arithmetic series using sigma notation. So we can use the following formula to find the sum of an arithmetic series. S sub n is equal to n over 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n, where S sub n, this is just a fancy way to write sum. N represents the total number of terms in the series. A sub 1 is the value of the first term in the series, and a sub n is the value of the last term. So let's work through a couple examples and see how we can use this formula to find the sum of an arithmetic series. Let's say we're given the following. N is equal to 1 all the way up to n is equal to 15 of the equation 4n. How can we find the sum of this series? Well, first we need to identify how many terms are in the series. So remember, that's our n. The way that we can do that is we can take the number on top of the sigma, subtract the number on the bottom, and add 1. So 15 minus 1 plus 1. So 15 minus 1 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So there will be 15 total terms in this series. So we can write S sub n is equal to n over 2, so n is 15 over 2, times a sub 1. So this is the value of the first term. So the way that we find this value is we plug in whatever number is right here for n into the formula. So we're told that n is equal to 1 is the first term. So if we plug in a 1 for n, we get 4 times 1, that's just 4. And then we add that to the last term. So the way that we find the last term is we use whatever value is on top of the sigma right here and plug that in for n. So 4 times 15, that's 60. So we get 4 plus 60. So the sum is going to be equal to 15 over 2 times 4 plus 60 is 64. So if we want, we can write that as times 64 over 1. Now, if we multiply these values, we can cross-reduce and we can say, let's divide this 2 by 2 and make it a 1. Divide this 64 by 2 and make it a 32. So we get 15 times 32, that turns out to be 480. So that is the sum of all the values in this series. And if we were to write out every single value, so if we plugged in n is equal to 1, we would find the first value is 4. The second value would be n is equal to 2. 4 times 2 is 8. The third value in the series would be n is equal to 3. If we plug in a 3, we get 4 times 3 is 12. So if we just did all that and we wrote out every single term in this series, plus the very last one of 15, 15 times 4 is 60, we would find that all of these numbers added together is equal to 480. So this equation just allowed us to use basically a shortcut to figure out what is the sum without actually calculating every individual value. All right, let's try one more example. Let's say we have the sum from n is equal to 8 to n is equal to 20 of the following equation, 7n minus 4. How can we figure out the sum of this series? Well, first we need to identify what is n. So we'll say the sum is equal to n over 2. N is the total number of terms. And remember, we said we can do the top number minus the bottom number plus 1. So we'll do 20 minus 8 plus 1. This is what n is equal to. So 20 minus 8 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So n is 13, so we'll say 13 over 2 times a sub 1. So that's the value of the first term. So the first term in the series we're told is n is equal to 8. So we need to plug in an 8 into this equation and see what we get. So 8 times 7, that's 56, minus 4 is 52. So the first term will be 52. Plus a sub n, that's the last term. So remember, the last term is whatever value is up here, plug that in for n. So if we do 20 times 7, that's 140. 140 minus 4 is 136. So we get 13 over 2 times 52 plus 136, that's 188. So we'll say times 188 over 1. And when we multiply these, we can cross-reduce. We'll divide this 2 by 2 and make it a 1. Divide 188 by 2 and make it 94. So if we do 13 times 94, we get 1,222. That is the sum of all the values in this arithmetic series.